Adam's Daily Bread. We are in our 35th day of reading. So let me take a little snip of this, our reading today. So I have it for my records. And then let's dive in. We're back in Genesis and Matthew. Okay, Genesis chapter 37. Jacob lived in the land of his father's travels in the land of Canaan. This is the history of the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brothers. He was a boy with the sons of Bilhah and Zilpah, his father's wives. Joseph brought an evil report of them to their father. Now Joseph loved Jacob, sorry, my. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a tunic of many colors. His brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, and they hated him, and couldn't speak peaceably to him. Joseph dreamed a dream and told it to his brothers, and they hated him all the more. He said to them, Please hear this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and behold, my sheaf arose, and also stood upright, and behold, your sheaves came around and bowed down to my sheaf. His brothers asked him, Will you indeed reign over us? Will you indeed have dominion over us? They hated him all the more for his dreams and for his words. He dreamed yet another dream and told it to his brothers and said, Behold, I have dreamed yet another dream, and behold, the sun and the moon and 11 stars bowed down to me. He told it to his father and to his brothers. His father rebuked him and said to him, What is this dream that you have dreamed? Will I and your mother and your brothers indeed come to bow ourselves down to you, to the earth? His brothers envied him, but his father kept them this saying in mind. His brothers went to feed their father's flock in Shechem. Israel said to Joseph, Aren't your brothers feeding the flock in Shechem? Come, and I will send you to them, he said. Here I am. He said to him, Go now, see whether it is well with your brothers and well with the flock, and bring me word again. So he sent him out of the valley of Hebron, and he came to Shechem. A certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field. The man asked him, What are you looking for? He said, I'm looking for my brothers. Tell me, please, where are they feeding the flock? The man said, They have left here, for I heard them say, Let's go to Dothan. Joseph went after his brothers and found them in Dothan. They saw him afar off, and before he came near to them, they conspired against him to kill him. They said to one another, Behold, this dreamer comes. Come now, therefore, and let's kill him, and cast him into one of the pits, and we'll say an evil animal has devoured him. We will see what will become of his dreams. Reuben heard it and delivered him out of their hand, and said, Let's not take his life. Reuben said to them, Shed no blood, throw him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand on him, that he might deliver him out of their hand, to restore him to his father. When Joseph came to his brothers, they stripped Joseph of his tunic, the tunic of many colors that was on him, and they took him and threw him into the pit. The pit was empty. There was no water in it. They sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and saw a caravan of Ishmaelites was coming from Gilead, with their camels bearing spices and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. Judah said to his brothers, What profit is it if we kill our brother and conceal his blood? Come, and let's sell him to the Ishmaelites, and not let our hand be on him, for he is our brother, our flesh. His brothers listened to him. Midianites who were merchants passed by, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. The merchants brought Joseph into Egypt. Reuben returned to the pit, and saw that Joseph wasn't in the pit, and he tore his clothes. He returned to his brothers and said, The child is no more, and where will I go? They took Joseph's tunic and killed a male goat and dipped the tunic in the blood. They took the tunic of many colors, and they brought it to their father and said, We have found this. Examine it now and see if it is your son's tunic or not. He recognized it and said, It is my son's tunic. An evil animal has devoured him. Joseph is without doubt torn in pieces. Jacob tore his clothes and put sackcloth on his waist and mourned for his son many days. All his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. He said, "For I will go down to Sheol to my son mourning." His father wept for him. The Midianites sold him into Egypt to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's, to the captain of the guard. How absolutely awful it is that your brothers would sell you into slavery and fake your horrific death, mauling death, and grieve their father. And I'm sure there's no innocent parties in this. I mean, we portray Joseph as a victim, but I'm sure he played a large role in being the favored youngest son and the brothers with their envy. What a difficult perspective. On to chapter 38. At that time, Judah went down from his brothers and visited a certain Adullamite whose name was Hira. There, Judah saw the daughter of a certain Canaanite man named Shua. He took her and went in to her. She conceived and bore a son, and he named him She conceived again and bore a son, and she named him Onan. She yet again bore a son, and named him Shelah. He was at Chezib when she bore him. Judah took a wife for his firstborn, and her name was Tamar. Judah's firstborn, was wicked in Yahweh's sight, so Yahweh killed him. Judah said to Onan, "Go in to your brother's wife and perform the duty of a husband's brother to her, and raise up offspring for your brother." Onan knew that the offspring wouldn't be his, and when he went in to his brother's wife, he spilled his semen on the ground, lest he should give offspring to his brother. The thing which he did was evil in Yahweh's sight, and he killed him also. Then Judah said to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, "Remain a widow in your father's house until Shelah, my son, is grown up," for he said, lest he also die like his brothers. Tamar went and lived in his father's house. After many days, Shua's daughter, the wife of Judah, died. Judah was comforted and went up to his sheep shearers in Timnah, he and his friend Hira, the Adullamite. Tamar was told, "Behold, your father-in-law is going up to Timnah to shear his sheep." She took off the garments of her widowhood and covered herself with her veil and wrapped herself and sat in the gate of Enaim, which is on the way to Timnah, for she saw that Shelah was grown up, and she couldn't give to him as a wife. When Judah saw her, he thought she was a prostitute, for she had covered her face. He turned to her by the way and said, "Please come, let me come in to you," for he didn't know that she was his daughter-in-law. She said, "What will you give me that you may come in to me?" He said, "I will send you a young goat from the flock." She said, "Will you give me a pledge until you send it?" He said, "What pledge would I give you?" She said, "Your signet and your cord and your staff that is in your hand." He gave them to her and came into her, and she conceived by him. She arose and went away and put off her veil for her and put on the garments of her widowhood. Judah sent the young goat by the hand of his friend the Adullamite to receive the pledge from the woman's hand, but he couldn't find her. Then he asked the men of her place, saying, "Where is the prostitute that was at Enaim by the road?" They said, "There has been no prostitute here." He returned to Judah and said, "I haven't found her, and also the men of the place said there has been no prostitute here." Judah said, "Let her keep it, lest we be shamed. Behold, I sent this young goat, and you haven't found her." About 3 months later, Judah was told, "Tamar, your daughter-in-law, who played the prostitute, moreover, behold, she is with child by prostitution." Judah said, "Bring her out and let her be burned." When she was brought out, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, "I am with child by the man who owns these." She also said, "Please discern whose these are, the signet and the cords and the staff." Judah acknowledged them and said, "She is more righteous than I, because I didn't give her to Selah my son." He knew her again no more. In the time of her travail, behold, twins were in her womb. When she travailed, one put out a hand, and the midwife took and tied a scarlet thread on his hand, saying, This came out first. As he drew back his hand, behold, his brother came out. And she said, Why have you made a breach for yourself? Therefore his name was called Perez. Afterward his brother came out, who had the scarlet thread on his hand, and his name was called Zerah. Let's go over into Matthew and finish our reading for the day. You have heard that it was said, You shall not commit adultery. This is Jesus still teaching. But I tell you that everyone who gazes at a woman to lust after her has committed adultery with her already in his heart. If your right eye causes you to stumble, pluck it out and throw it away from you, for it is more profitable for you that one of your members should perish than for your whole body to be cast into Gehenna. If your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away from you, for it is more profitable for you than one of your members should perish than for your whole body to be cast into Gehenna. It was also said, Whoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorce. But I tell you that whoever puts away his wife, except for the cause of sexual immorality, makes her an adulteress, and whoever marries her when she is put away commits adultery. Again, you have heard that it was said to the ancient ones, You shall not make false vows, but shall perform to the Lord your vows. But I tell you, don't swear at all, neither by heaven, for it is the throne of God, nor by earth, for it is his footstool of his feet, nor by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. Neither shall you swear by your head, for you can't make one hair white or black. But let your yes be yes, and your no be no. Whatever is more than these is of the evil one. You have heard that it is said, An eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. But I tell you, don't resist him who is evil, but whoever strikes you on your right cheek, turn to him the other also. If anyone sues you to take away your coat, let him have your cloak also. Whoever compels you to go 1 mile, go with him 2. Give to him who asks you, and don't turn away him who desires to borrow from you. You have heard that it was said, You shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I tell you, love your enemies, bless those who curse you, do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who mistreat you and persecute you, that you may be children of your Father who is in heaven. For he makes his sun to rise on the evil and the good, sends rain on the just and the unjust. For if you love those who love you, what reward do you have? Don't even the tax collectors do the same? If you only greet your friends, what more do you do than others? Don't even the tax collectors do the same? Therefore you shall be perfect, just as your Father in heaven is perfect. This completes our reading for today. Thank you for being here, for listening, for sharing, for making comments, thoughtful and concerned, prayerful. We ask that you share, help this reach many people. Thank you again. Like, follow, subscribe. It makes a difference. Let's close in prayer. Lord, thank you for your reading. Thank you for your word. Thank you for the blessings that you give to us. We ask that you watch over and protect us. Be with us this day and those that come. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, everybody. Till next time.